Vice President Kamala Harris has taken a significant step in the 2024 presidential race. She released her medical records to the public. This move aims to demonstrate transparency about her health and fitness for office. The records, reviewed by her physician, Dr. Joshua R. Simmons, paint a positive picture. Dr. Simmons declared her to be in excellent health, highlighting her management of minor conditions like seasonal allergies and mild nearsightedness. Importantly, he affirmed her physical and mental capacity to handle the demands of the presidency. The timing of this release is noteworthy, coming amidst growing concerns about the health and age of both candidates. Harris, at 70, is challenging former President Donald Trump, who is 78. By releasing her records, Harris directly addresses these concerns head-on, presenting herself as a healthy and capable leader. This action implicitly challenges her opponent to do the same. Some critics argue that the released information is limited, pointing to the lack of a comprehensive medical report. Despite these criticisms, Harris's decision to release her medical records marks a significant moment in the campaign. It raises the bar for transparency and puts pressure on Trump to respond. The timing of Harris's medical records release suggests a calculated political strategy. It comes on the heels of increasing scrutiny of Trump's health. By releasing her records, Harris positions herself as the more transparent candidate. This could resonate with voters who prioritize openness and honesty. Harris aims to neutralize attacks, presenting herself as a vigorous leader. Donald Trump's approach to health transparency stands in stark contrast to Harris's openness. Trump has been notoriously guarded about his medical history. Despite calls to release his medical records, Trump has consistently refused. His reluctance dates back to his 2016 campaign. He broke tradition by refusing to release his tax returns and offered vague health assurances. He released a letter from Dr. Harold Bornstein, ridiculed for its lack of details. As president, Trump continued to evade health questions, making secretive visits to Walter Reed. The White House offered conflicting explanations, heightening public curiosity. Trump's aversion to transparency contrasts with most modern candidates. This raises questions about his accountability to the American people. As the 2024 election nears, Trump's health remains a point of contention. Health transparency is poised to become a key discussion point. Their contrasting approaches underscore a fundamental difference in their campaigns. The contrasting approaches of Kamala Harris and Donald Trump to health transparency underscore a fundamental difference in their campaigns. Harris's decision to release her medical records reflects a commitment to openness, in line with the expectations of many modern voters. Trump's continued secrecy perpetuates a pattern of distrust and raises questions about what he might be hiding. Transparency is often seen as a sign of accountability and trustworthiness, qualities highly valued in a leader. By being open about her health, Harris reinforces her campaign message of transparency, positioning herself as a leader unafraid to be upfront with the American people. Trump's evasion plays into the existing narrative of him as a secretive and untrustworthy figure. His refusal to release his medical records fuels speculation and suspicion, raising questions about whether he has something to hide. The contrast between Harris's transparency and Trump's evasion highlights a fundamental difference in their approaches to leadership. It also reflects the changing expectations of the electorate. In an era of heightened political polarization, transparency has become more important than ever. Voters are demanding honesty and accountability from their leaders. How this dynamic plays out in the 2024 election remains to be seen. The power of perception: how health impacts voter trust. A candidate's health, or at least the perception of it, can significantly influence voter trust and ultimately their decision at the polls. The release of medical records, even partial ones, offers a glimpse into a candidate's physical and mental well-being. This glimpse can either solidify or erode public confidence in their ability to lead. In presidential politics, perception often trumps reality. The public image of a candidate, including their perceived health and vitality, plays a crucial role in shaping voter opinions. When a candidate is perceived as unhealthy or frail, it can raise doubts about their stamina and ability to handle the immense pressure and demands of the presidency. Conversely, when a candidate is perceived as healthy and vigorous, it projects an image of strength, competence, and resilience. This perception can inspire confidence in their ability to lead. In the case of Harris and Trump, their contrasting approaches to health transparency are likely to influence voter perceptions in different ways. Harris's openness could bolster her image as a trustworthy leader, while Trump's secrecy could perpetuate the perception of him as evasive and raise further doubts about his fitness for office. The age factor, a growing concern in the 2024 election. The 2024 election brings age to the forefront of American politics. Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are in their 70s. This has sparked a national conversation about the demands of the presidency. The presidency requires immense stamina and mental acuity. Concerns arise about whether someone in their 70s can handle the job. Proponents of age limits argue for a capable president. They point to potential health crises impairing judgment. Opponents argue that experience and wisdom matter more than age. Many remain sharp and capable well into their 70s and 80s. The debate over age in the 2024 election will continue. The ultimate decision rests with the American people. Fitness for office, a silent requirement for the presidency. The Constitution requires a natural-born citizen at least 35 years old and a 14-year resident. Noticeably absent is any mention of physical or mental fitness. This omission sparks debates about formal fitness assessments. Proponents argue for an independent medical evaluation. Opponents fear political manipulation and subjective criteria. The debate highlights the need for transparency and reliable information. Beyond the doctor's note. Examining the importance of holistic health. The release of medical records, while providing valuable insights, offers only a limited snapshot of a candidate's overall health. True fitness for office extends beyond the absence of disease, encompassing physical, mental, and emotional well-being. It also includes factors like stress management, sleep habits, and overall lifestyle choices, all of which can impact a president's ability to lead effectively. The presidency is a uniquely demanding job requiring long hours, constant travel, and the ability to make high-stakes decisions under immense pressure. The toll that this level of stress can take on a person's physical and mental health is undeniable. Therefore, it is essential to consider a candidate's holistic health when evaluating their fitness for office. Beyond traditional metrics like blood pressure and cholesterol levels, voters should consider a candidate's energy levels, their ability to handle stress, and their overall resilience. These factors, while more difficult to quantify, are equally important indicators of a candidate's ability to withstand the pressures of the presidency and lead effectively. In the 2024 election, voters should look beyond the doctor's note and consider the holistic health of each candidate. Assessing their physical, mental, and emotional well-being is crucial to making an informed decision about who is best equipped to lead the country. The undecided voter caught in the crossfire of health disclosures. As the 2024 election cycle heats up, the undecided voter finds themselves caught in a crossfire of health disclosures and accusations. The transparency of one candidate is juxtaposed against the secrecy of the other, leaving many unsure of who to believe or what to make of the conflicting narratives surrounding health and fitness for office. For these undecided voters, the issue of health presents a unique challenge. On the one hand, they value transparency and want to be assured that the candidate they choose is physically and mentally capable of handling the demands of the presidency. On the other hand, they recognize that health is a private matter and may be hesitant to penalize a candidate for choosing to keep their medical history confidential. This dilemma is further complicated by the partisan divide that permeates American politics, with voters bombarded with conflicting information from their preferred news sources. The undecided voter is left to navigate this complex landscape, weighing the importance of transparency against the right to privacy while sifting through a barrage of conflicting information. Ultimately, their decision may come down to which candidate they perceive as more trustworthy and who they believe is best equipped to lead the country, regardless of age or health status. The future of health transparency, a turning point in presidential elections. The 2024 presidential election could mark a turning point in health transparency in American politics. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have brought the issue to the forefront, prompting a national conversation. Harris's decision to release her medical records sets a precedent for greater transparency. Voters now expect candidates to be open about their health. This expectation will likely continue, pressuring candidates to be more forthcoming. Trump's secrecy perpetuates a tradition of evasion, but voters are demanding greater transparency and accountability. the 2024 election could determine the future of health transparency in presidential politics. The potential impact. Will health records sway the vote? As the 2024 election enters its final stretch, the question remains, will the release of health records sway the vote? While it's impossible to predict with certainty, the impact of these disclosures is likely to be nuanced and dependent on a multitude of factors. For some voters, particularly those who prioritize transparency and accountability, Harris's openness could solidify their support. Her willingness to release her medical records, even if limited, may be perceived as a sign of honesty and trustworthiness. Conversely, Trump's continued secrecy could alienate some voters who may perceive his refusal to release his medical records as an attempt to hide something. However, it's important to note that health is just one of many factors that voters consider when casting their ballots. The economy, healthcare, climate change, and social justice issues are likely to be far more influential in shaping voters' decisions. Furthermore, the impact of health disclosures is likely to be mediated by partisan affiliation, with voters unlikely to be swayed by information about their health, regardless of how positive or negative it may be. In the end, the release of health records may not be the deciding factor in the 2024 election, but it has undoubtedly injected another layer of complexity into an already contentious race.